person with me. If you want better tomorrow, no go vote Olodo, no.
On your mark, let's go. As you see me, so at the front line, no.
At the front line, no.
Put it one mind, no. Make we unite, oh. Do the right thing, no.
Do the right thing. Situation don't they get a CD. My brother, sister, get your BBC. Make we unite, make we vote you be. Now my president, me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Not the person will be. If you want better tomorrow, no go vote to load, no.
If you don't want to be, it means say you don't want to be.
Me, I go vote to Obi, Peter Obi. Say now you we want to.
You we want to.
Now you we want to.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
Ana son ci gaban Najeriya a zaba Peter Obi.
Fún ìlọsíwájú orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà, dìbò fún Pétérù Òbí.
maka ọdịmma Naịjirịa ka anyị tụnyere nụ Peter Obi.
Vote Peter Obi.
Record. Are you obedient? Are you obedient? Now my president you be. Me I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Not the person will be me. If you want better tomorrow, no go.
All right. Good evening, all. We'll give a few minutes to welcome people to the Zoom platform, as well as to the YouTube platform. So we are streaming live across two YouTube channels, Njenje TV, Doctors for Peter Obi, and on Facebook, Doctors for Peter Obi. Then on Twitter, we're also streaming on Doctors for Peter Obi handle and my own personal handle, Edoga MD. So we are welcome to today. So we're going to give a little time for people to come online. So today is the third day of the 6-day series for fundraising. So we have had a wonderful 2 days. So we are hoping that today is going to be wonderful too. So our viewers on YouTube, thank you for joining in. If you are watching it after the broadcast, thank you also. Let me play some music in the background. Record.
Are you obedient? Are you obedient? Now my president, you think me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Not the person with me. If you want better tomorrow, no go vote to load, no.
I am a let's go as you see me so at the front line, no.
At the front line,
But you want mine, no, make we unite, oh, do the right thing.
do the right thing. Situation that they get a CB. My brother, sister, get your BBC. Make we unite, make we vote TOB. Now my president, you me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Not the person with me. Want better tomorrow. No go to load, no.
If you don't want to be, it means say you don't want to be.
Me I go vote Obi, Peter Obi. Say now you we want to.
You we want to.
Now you we want to.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
Ana son ci gaban Najeriya a zaba Peter Obi.
fún ìlọsíwájú orílẹ̀-èdè nàìjíríà dìbò fún pétérù òbí.
maka ọdịmma Naijiria ka anyị tụnyere na Peter Obi.
Vote Peter Obi.
Peter Obi.
Record. Are you obedient? Are you obedient? Now my president, you think me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Not the person with me. If you want better tomorrow, no go vote to load, no.
I am a let's go as you see me so at the front line, no.
At the front line,
But you want mine, no, make we unite, oh, do the right thing.
do the right thing. Situation that they get a CB. My brother, sister, get your BBC. Make we unite, make we vote TOB. Now my president, you me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Not the person with me. Want better tomorrow.
So let's wait briefly so that more persons can join before we start. Thank you.
If you don't want to be, it means say you don't want to be.
Me I go vote Obi, Peter Obi. Say now you we want to.
You we want to.
Now you we want to.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
Ana son ci gaban Najeriya a zaba Peter Obi.
fún ìlọsíwájú orílẹ̀-èdè nàìjíríà dìbò fún pétérù òbí.
maka ọdịmma Naijiria ka anyị tụnyere na Peter Obi.
Vote Peter Obi.
Record. Are you obedient? Are you obedient? Now my president, you think me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Not the person with me. If you want better tomorrow, no go vote to load, no.
I am a let's go as you see me so at the front line, no.
At the front line,
But you want mine, no, make we unite, oh, do the right thing.
do the right thing. Situation that they get a CB. My brother, sister, get your BBC. Make we unite, make we vote TOB. Now my president, you me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Not the person with me. Want better tomorrow. No go to load, no.
If you don't want to be, it means say you don't want to be.
Me I go vote Obi, Peter Obi. Say now you we want to.
production.
Ana son ci gaban Najeriya a zaba Peter Obi.
fún ìlọsíwájú orílẹ̀-èdè nàìjíríà dìbò fún pétérù òbí.
maka ọdịmma naijiria ka anyị tụnyere nụ Peter Obi.
Peter Obi.
Vote Peter Obi.
Peter Obi.
Vote Peter Obi.
Record. Are you? Sorry for the delay. We are waiting for persons to come online before we start. Thank you.
Obedience. I am obedient. Are you obedient? We are obedient. Now my president, you think me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Now the person will be me. If you want better tomorrow, no go vote to load, no.
I am a let's go as you see me so at the front line, no.
At the front line,
But you want mine, no, make we unite, oh, do the right thing.
do the right thing. Situation don't they get a CD. My brother, sister, get your BBC. Make we unite, make we vote TOB.
Now my president, you me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Now the person will be want better tomorrow. No go for to load, no.
If you don't want to be, it means say you don't want to be.
Me I go vote Obi. Peter Obi. Say now you we want to.
We want to.
Now you we want
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
Ana son ci gaban Najeriya a zaba Peter Obi.
fún ìlọsíwájú orílẹ̀-èdè nàìjíríà dìbò fún pétérù òbí.
maka ọdịmma naijiria ka anyị tụnyere nụ Peter Obi.
Peter Obi.
Vote Peter Obi.
Vote Peter Obi.
Vote Peter Obi.
Record. Are you obedient?
I am obedient.
Are you obedient?
We are obedient.
Now my president, you think me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Now the person will be me. If you want better tomorrow, no go vote to load, no.
I am a let's go as you see me so at the front line, no.
At the front line,
But you want mine, no, make we unite, oh, do the right thing.
do the right thing. Situation don't they get a CD. My brother, sister, get your BBC. Make we unite, make we vote TOB.
Now my president, you me, I want better tomorrow. Me no want to load, no. Now the person will be want better tomorrow. No go for to load, no.
If you don't want to be, it means say you don't want to be.
Me I go vote Obi. Peter Obi. Say now you we want to.
We want to.
Now you we want
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
Ana son ci gaban Najeriya a zaba Peter Obi.
fún ìlọsíwájú orílẹ̀-èdè nàìjíríà dìbò fún pétérù òbí.
maka ọdịmma naijiria ka anyị tụnyere nụ Peter Obi.
Peter Obi.
Vote Peter Obi. Vote Peter Obi.
Record. Are you obedient?
I am obedient.
Are you obedient?
We are obedient.
Now my president, you think.
All right. So we are going to share portions of the video clips. Okay, some of them we have already played, some we have not, so that we can have some context before we start discussions. So this is 14 minutes video clip of the Eha-Amufu attack. I'm going to start the video now. All right. So just listen in and we'll get back to discussion. Later we'll play the short video clip for Southern Kaduna.
1,000 lives so far lost for the people of Eha-Amufu community in Enugu State, where they are calling on the president to instruct security agencies to come stop the incessant killings going on in their land, where they are alleging the parcels of land with a large deposit of uranium, which is a subject of dispute between the community and another community in Benue State, have resulted in the wanton killings of the people of Eha-Amufu.
Songs of Sorrow by sons and daughters of Eha-Amufu community resident in Abuja. They are mourning members of their community who were recently killed. They allege that over 1,000 lives have been cut short since 2020, when the land disputes between the people and their Benue neighbors escalated. According to them, a militia has been attacking their communities, killing and sacking the people intermittently. They say the matter has been reported to security agencies, but no help has come their way. They have now decided to reach out to the public for help.
The police commissioner is fully briefed, seized with this matter. The GOC, the garrison commander, are fully seized with this matter. The state director of DSS is fully seized with this matter. But our worry is that they are not bothered about the killing that had started since 2020 till date. They are asking questions about the truck incidents. Our killing, our decimation predates the truck incidents. And they have failed to unravel the perpetrators of the truck incident, who are not our people. The continuous encroachment of our Benue neighbors into our land, and they come under the guise of farming. In the circumstance, intermittent quarrels and skirmishes had become constant. And so in more recent time, Eha-Amufu, because we're cleaved to peace, our leaders of thought and elders went severally to negotiate with our neighbors in Benue to determine nothing but peace. But along the line, our Benue brothers, our Benue neighbors frustrated the entire process.
But it seems there is more to the land dispute, as reports claim that a large deposit of uranium discovered in the disputed communities may be flaming the dispute. The leader of the protesters confirmed this.
Between 1966 and 1970, there was a discovery of uranium in 5 communities that cover Ebo, Egamede, and Umbuji. A small portion of it is in Ikemu, where they come Urim in Ikemu. A huge uranium deposit. Before 1966, our borders with the Benue was the Ahube River. Because of this finding, some northern interests commenced a wishy-washy, a dubious boundary adjustment that moved the boundary from Ahube River to Ado River. Whereas, before amalgamation of Nigeria, our people had lived and farmed in Ado. Ado is in Eha-Amufu, is not in Benue. Why move the boundary? So we know that the facade, the small screen for this killing is tied to the rich uranium deposit.
With many killed and others rendered homeless, the people say there's been no support from government, which has made life more difficult for them. They are appealing to government to come to their aid and help mitigate their sufferings.
Well, quite a sad situation there. And we do have in the studio the leader of the protesters, which you've just seen right there, Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwu Kashmir. He is the chairman of Eha-Amufu People's Forum. Well, thank you so much for being here. First of all, let's start with you. Paint us a picture as to exactly what is happening in Eha-Amufu, where you're alleging that there's been attack even until the 19th of this month of December. What is going on?
The true picture is that tomorrow is Christmas, and there will be no Christmas in Eha-Amufu, and there will be no Christmas for any true born of Eha-Amufu. As I speak with you, our people are scattered along Ikem Obolafo Road, where they are there destituted. Our people are scattered across Ebonyi State, the Amezu axis of the road. No shelter, nobody is catering for them. Some had moved towards another neighboring town called Omaro. Some are in Neke. Those who have relations in Enugu have moved into Enugu. The town is a ghost town. Before the former closure of school, all the schools, primary, secondary, including Federal College of Education in Eha-Amufu, were hurriedly shut down because the town had become inhabitable. Like I said, this recent killing started on the 8th of December, but the killing proper started sometime 2020, between November, December 2020. In fact, on a New Year day, during New Year's service, an Anglican priest was hound down and his members wounded by the same militia group. And it has been there serially from March to June to August, all through 2021. But this particular one, in some days we will go and you take out about 51 dead bodies from one simple community. Eha-Amufu is comprises of 9 autonomous communities. 9 autonomous communities. It is the second single largest community in Enugu State. So we do not understand what is happening here. It's an agrarian place. If you talk about food production in Enugu State, 60 to 70% of food produced, all type, yam, rice, gari, cassava, whatever comes from that place. And these farmers are the ones living in this hinterland, and they have been totally displaced. Totally displaced. No serious intervention of any type.
This is really coming as a big surprise in the sense that you have the presence of the GOC, General Officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army in Enugu. Of course, you have the police commissioner and the rest, the DSS, the state director of DSS. And what has been the intervention? And you keep mentioning militia. Who are these militias? Oh, of course, we believe strongly, and there are evidence for us to believe so, that these are herdsmen militia that were... Has there been any arrest? How would you conclude? Because they attack homes, some manage to escape. If somebody comes to attack us here, we will at least have an idea of who is coming. Those of us who are lucky to escape. And that way we had known. Now, this is the point. When it started, there was a deployment of a small unit of army personnel, not up to 5, at the party house, the old party house. Whereas this killing is happening at Ogbete, Ngelagi, Ogomgebo, Ipakpara, Uzamado, Okpoku, Axis, at the fringes of our borders with Benue State. No single military presence or police presence in the entire area I have mentioned. It's as if something is happening in Abach and you post military men to come and stay here in Maitama, and you expect that they will be able to respond, about 2 or 3 of them. When these people, the last attack of 8th December, there were well over 600 of them that came and were maiming people, killing, burning houses. Of course, that was what, like the last straw that broke the camel's back, and people moved out. That particular day, on the 7th of December, happened to be a K-market day. The attack of that day reached crescendo. You could see students of the Federal College of Education scampering for safety, and we were very much worried. As I speak to you, there will be no Christmas in Eha-Amufu tomorrow. Okay, quite troubling, all of these allegations that you have laid. But just like Christian had asked earlier, you are actually accusing security personnel of complicity. You're saying that they're not even coming to your aid. With the people that you say you have identified responsible for this, have you officially
reported to the security agents around that area, and also married up with the fact that from the report earlier, you say this might be because of what was discovered in the land, uranium, if I'm not wrong. Where's the place of the National Boundary Commission in all of this to try to find a solution to the dispute, which you say has been on since 2020?
Thank you very much. Why we're here is that, our worry is that this matter had been allowed to smolder for 2 years now, leading to high carnage of human life, destruction of lives and property, and displacement of people. And we are not happy that government is not doing enough to end this killing. We had called on President Muhammad Buhari to activate the necessary agencies and authorities of government to wade into this matter. If there are boundary issues between us and our Benue brothers, it should be clearly resolved and an end put to this matter. We do not have boundary with militia headsmen. Headers had been coming to my place while I was growing up, and we had no issues. They chat with my mother, and they will say, "Oh, your nose looks like that of our sisters. You are very tall like them." We had very friendly relationship with them. What had suddenly gone awry? That now we are subjected to ethnic cleansing. As I speak to you, you asked if the security operatives are aware. And I said the commissioner of police is aware, the governor of the state is aware, the garrison commander is aware. But this is our worry. It is not being aware that is the issue. It is, do their action, do their record inspire sufficient confidence for us to believe that there's purity of intent on their part to end this killing? The killing has overwhelmed us. Eha-Amufu will never be the same again. We're asking President Muhammad Buhari to urgently intervene. We want military on ground in those places I mentioned, not in Eha-Amufu town. The Eha-Amufu town is a ghost. There will be no Christmas church service in Eha-Amufu. There are no Christmas carol. Since 1980 till date, we have always had a national convention of all Christians in Eha-Amufu every December. It is not holding because nobody can go to Eha-Amufu. I spoke to a reporter of a big media house. I said, go to the town. He said, it's no go area. He's based in Enugu.
This is quite frightening, We just hope that the security agencies concerned will really be proactive in taking action to redress this. And I know, of course, they are watching Arise News, and we'll give them the invitation to come.
Before we wrap this up, Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi just a couple of days had spoken about the fact that he intends to meet with Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State, and he says peace will return to Eha-Amufu. Are you optimistic, that meeting will be that, silver bullet that will probably see an end to this crisis?
The meeting has been late in coming. According to Governor Wike, my governor, His Excellency Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, is the chief of staff of the G5 governors. I had expected that since January, if he didn't start last year, at least since they became very close, he would have raised this issue, that it is our brothers from the Benue Axis that is the inroad of the militia coming to kill us. That has not happened. I do not have enough faith in this. I expected that the governor should lead from the front. With this level of carnage, killing, and displacement, the governor should be talking directly with the president and commander-in-chief on how to put an end to the killing of Eha-Amufu. Except there are political intents, which I don't understand.
You think all hope is lost? The whole situation is really awry, and the Italani displaced the people of your community. How are they getting help?
No help is coming. The toll of humanitarian crisis is huge. As we speak, there's no audit going on of displaced people in Amufu. We do not have an IDP camp. There's no place to receive the people that are so displaced.
All right, thank you so very much. We empathize with you greatly, and still calling on security agents, to rise up to the occasion like they do always.
All right, thank you very much. I can see some activity on the YouTube page. We have 31 viewers currently, so thank you for tuning in. So I'm going to play a short video clip right away of Arise News report on Southern Kaduna. It's like 4 minutes 14 seconds. So let's just watch it a bit.
18th of December 2022, terrorists stormed Malagum 1 and Sokam communities of Kagoro Chiefdom in Kaura local government area of Kaduna State. Scores were killed, houses razed, and property destroyed.
The atmosphere was rife with news that there will be an imminent attack. So the women left their abode that is close to the hills to the center of the village, because that's where my house is, thinking they are fleeing from danger, not knowing that the attack will start even from the highway that links to Kaduna towards the hill. So they were asleep, they were fast asleep. They didn't know the attack was going on. And I had not gone to sleep. So at the sound of the gunshot, everybody scampered to safety. We forgot that they were even lying down there because the gunshot was everywhere. You can't know where to run to. So that was how they came, met them asleep, and they shot them.
Look at my house here. They are bonnet. Nothing. I didn't come out with anything here in this house. I don't know what happened. The security came on Tuesday. Nothing. They did not do anything. And then we left. They came on Wednesday, on Thursday again. Nothing happened. They will begin to wonder what is happening to the government. So they will come and pick cops and leave the place.
Because these things started since last week on Tuesday. That's when it started. They killed about 4 people that Tuesday, and they promised to come back, and they came back that yesterday. So they killed so many people, and the government didn't take any action.
The attack has been described by government officials as inhumane and barbaric.
We are aware of the crisis that happened here in Kagoro Chiefdom. So we're here to condole with the good people of the chiefdom on that side event, and we pray that God in His mercies will grant us peace.
Locals have buried their dead amidst hundreds of wailers. The people of southern Kaduna say they are tired of consistent attacks on their communities. They want perpetrators of these attacks brought to book.
As a Malagum son, to declare today that what happened in Malagum, enough is enough. Enough is enough. They have been killing our people, and they know who are doing these things. The government have failed our people.
Speaking at the mass funeral, clergymen urged the people of the affected communities to unite and defend themselves from further terrorist attacks.
Still wish to say, yes, we need justice, and we'll keep crying for justice. The government has to give us justice. Our people will not just be dying like this. This has to end.
My house is razed down. Enough of the stupidity. Enough of the maiming. We will not take it anymore. Yes. The military has failed us. The police has failed us. Yes. The government has failed us. And it is time for us to do it our own way. Yes. I am a reverend. Yes. What I have seen and what happened, we will not see it again. Yes.
For decades, there have been killings and counter-killings between herders and farmers in southern Kaduna, prompting the state government to host several security peace meetings. However, the cause of this recent attack is not yet clear, but the people of Kagoro Chiefdom are being advised not to take laws into their hands. Nisi Gabriel, Arise News, Kaduna.
All right, so we have watched a bit of context so far. So good evening, everyone. We have 33 viewers currently. You are all welcome. So if you want to ask question, please, you can ask the question. The chat room is being monitored on YouTube, and you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us at Doctors for P2B. If you want to make comments, if you want to make donations. All right, so the donations we are raising today, which is the third day of this 6-day series, is to be able to procure relief items for these two affected areas. While the rest of us were celebrating Christmas, they were in pains. All right, okay. So you can share this link with your friends. You can share it. If you want to join the Zoom discussion so that you can actively participate, you can see the Zoom ID and the Zoom passcode. So you can go ahead and join on the Zoom. All right. So we have some guests that we invited. Hopefully, I'll give them opportunity to speak. Dr. Ladu from Up North, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother.
All right, you are welcome to the third day of this fundraising. Hopefully, we are going to go further in this discussion and also raise some funds which will help some of our brothers in Southern Kaduna and in Eha-Amufu. You're welcome, sir. We had two others that were with us, but because of network, they were disconnected. So I'm hoping that they join us again so that they can make their own contributions. All right, so Dr. Lado, can you briefly just let our viewers know what is going on in Southern Kaduna? We already played some video clips, but just add your own perspective. If you have stories, personal accounts, people who who are affected by these killings, maybe they have been displaced or they suffered as a result of these killings. So please go ahead, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, and good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be here. I think on the first day I told us, even though I am an indigen of Katsina State, I live in Katsina State, but I grew up in Kaduna. That was where I did my primary, secondary, and even university. So I have stayed there, and I also told us that I married a Southern Kaduna woman. So you can see Kaduna is part of me, and it's just unfortunate what is really happening in Kaduna State. Now I look at it as an ethnic cleansing. This thing is happening in the southern part of Kaduna, families being displaced, people being killed. I have a friend, Dr. Peter Waziri, that is of the Adara ethnic group, and then most of their villages have been wiped out. Their people are suffering. You see a family, so many people have been made orphans, with these things. And when they go, they clear the communities, burn down houses, burn down people's food, in their barns and everything. So you can see it's really disheartening what is really happening. And what will surprise you is that before these attacks are taken or before these attacks happen, sometimes these people will tell the community that they are coming. That's what breaks my heart. They will tell them, okay, we are coming. And then I'm telling you, they will still come. So, in cases like that, it beats my imagination with what is happening. If we have a government in the land and you know that, okay, so village, an attack will be happening, maybe the people have reported and what have you, why don't government, take a swift action, to protect these communities? But I don't know, things like this, sometimes you say you don't even understand how government operates, or with this kind of informations they get. But I believe, this outreach that we'll be doing there, this help will be providing, it will go a long way in helping individuals. We are in a festive period, and we should put smile on people's faces. For somebody that has been affected by this kind of situation, the person will really be depressed. But for him to see that ObiDients are reaching out to him in love, it will really boost the chances of a candidate, that's His Excellency Peter Obi. And this is service to humanity. Our reward will not only be here, but it will also be in the hereafter. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lado, for your comments. Well appreciated. So we have about 30-something viewers. It fluctuates, it drops to around 20-something. All right, so the good thing about this broadcast is that people can watch it again. The last 2 days that we had over 1,000 persons who watched it, and persons can also reach out after the broadcast. Okay, I want to welcome Zari Yusuf to just tell us more about what is happening in Southern Kaduna and what areas, we can actually help with the funds that are going to be donated from the first day till the 6th day. So, Zari Yusuf, please, you have the floor. Zari Yusuf, are you there? Okay, please, we want you to make your own input into what is happening in Southern Kaduna. Zari Yusuf.
All right. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Dr. Adoga Beliaminu. Nice to be here. So as a matter of fact, I just got in home. I came in, I left earlier to, basically what I'd hoped to do today is to interact with people. Unfortunately, I got in late. Then I got to just speak with, the secretary that is in charge of the refugee issue in the local government. I met him, of course, not in a very good state. I was able to summon courage to go around the community. Actually, when they tell you the place was completely razed, that's actually what happened. I've got my camera. I would take shots of the area and a few other places I was shown. It was a bit late, so we just did a brief tour. I hope to meet with the survivors in the morning, and
Go ahead, sir. Zari Yusuf, we cannot hear you again.
Sorry, I think I fell off network. I don't know if I'm audible.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. So I met with him, and of course, there's a dimension to our conversation that I think preferably I would rather put in as a report. I very much promise I would share that with the House very much. Of course, some certain details one will not be in a hurry to divulge. So I just told him, I said tomorrow after the interaction, we'll have an idea of some of the needs that are on ground. And then we see, because of course I had already gone solo to raise some support. So of course, since accountability is required, basically I've always worked alone, and then I sell my idea to people who are willing to make their own sacrifices, and then I pursue whatever project it is. So when I meet with them tomorrow, I'll make an assessment of what the needs are. Once that is done, wherever we could come in with whatever it is I have, and then I would do so, of course, evaluate the situation, get first-hand report from either those who survived or relatives of people who survived it, and then people who have first-hand information about it, so we get to know exactly what's on ground, other than what generally the media sells. Of course, it's been overwhelmed with the narrative of community clash, which obviously is not true. So tomorrow, I am certain by this time tomorrow, I should have reached out with some relief to them, and then gotten basically the primary informations that I need, those that would go public and those that I intend to pass across more discreetly.
All right. Thank you so much, Zari. We'll be glad to have a feedback, field feedback maybe tomorrow, because some persons may not be able to attend these meetings, but when we have concise, field feedback, pictures, video clips, so there is a human face to this. So I want to welcome Kingsley from Up North. You're welcome, sir. So Zari, I want to ask you a question. In terms of the estimated number of persons affected and their distribution in terms of geographic distribution, because when we want to make this intervention, we need to identify those areas and be able to reach out to them. Southern Kaduna is not a homogeneous place. I know that they have different communities. So if you have some idea, you can maybe shed some light so that those that are watching will know where their relief is going to.
So primarily, Kagoro, which is the adulterated name of Ogrok. Basically, the name of the place is the name of the particular tribe that is there. Basically, there are about 6 of us, I would say, that share some differences in dialects. So the Ogrok are the ones that are there, and primarily the heat is strictly on them because it's their hometown. Of course, I came across a particular, well, let me not go too much into that details, but I would definitely furnish you with that. But primarily, it's the Kagoro people that have been affected, and their houses mostly owned, not rented. And the communities are not far from each other. There was an earlier attack on the 13th, and then the one that came on the 19th, 18th, 19th, and then another wave that came that fortunately nobody was hurt. And then to an extent, I think some concerns were raised, and another set of military was on ground. So those ones repelled the attackers. I would furnish you with a lot of details in that regard tomorrow, with perhaps pictures, of course. So basically, they are the Kagoro people in the southern part of Kaduna and Kaura local government. And the attack is, I would say, 90 to 98%. The impact is strictly on that particular ethnic group, the Kagoro people, basically, except for I know of some people that came in for burial, and they wasted 2 of them. And then there might be families that have either adopted children from elsewhere and all of that. But primarily, I think to a large extent, at least 95, 98% casualty is strictly on that ethnic group. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Because what we want to do is to identify those that are affected, in terms of where they are. I know that many of them are displaced. Do they have maybe people who represent them, people who can identify where they are so that any relief item can actually get to them? All right. So tomorrow,
Yes.
You are going to give us more details.
So tomorrow I will have access to those details, but they are well documented. Those who died and those who directly survived it. So that it's well documented, so that once there are relief materials, they know exactly who has which and which need. It was a bit late when I got in. Tomorrow I will be very well furnished with those information. I think I would have copies of that, and then perhaps via mail. So I would share with you, so you get, of course, with a report that I would definitely put together, so you get a very good picture of what's on ground, and then the priority of needs also.
Okay, all right, that'll be fine. Thank you so much, sir. So we look forward to your feedback, and then we'll also like to know some of the relief materials that may be required in terms of, maybe we can categorize them, those that are critically needed, and those that like needs and wants. So when we are making procurements with the donations, we'll know how to do it. And maybe on the committee level, we'll continue to discuss that. But if donors want specifics, they can reach out and we'll give them those specifics. Thank you. Please still stay on. We may have 1 or 2 questions. I'm monitoring the YouTube space, and this is also being shared on Twitter. Some people are also watching it on Twitter, my handle and docs for P2B, and as well as our Facebook. So when the questions come, we are going to bring it up here. So Kingsley Lado, do you want to make any comments concerning the Southern Kaduna crisis? What do you want ObiDients to know? And because you made a very good comment, Lado, that this is a humanitarian intervention. It's not pure campaign, but we know that a lot of persons living in those areas are obedient. In Enugu, Eha-Amufu, our group, we went there for 2 days in October, and it's heartbreaking to see scores, and hundreds of people lose their life, lose their properties, lose their homes, and become destitute. Same thing happening in Kaduna. So please, if you want to make comments, Zari has made comment. Lado or Kingsley, please, you can unmute yourself and speak. Maybe Kingsley, you can go first.
All right. Thank you, and good evening. Sorry for joining late. I think I joined earlier, but my phone went off, so I had to reconnect. But I'm here now. So just like we established in the first day, and I'll still bring it up again. And as you have rightfully said, what we are doing is not just a political intervention. So this is way past politics, right? But the truth of the matter is, in as much as it is more than a political intervention, it is still an intervention that is being carried out by ObiDients and all of that. Because in Southern Kaduna, I think even Seth, what's her name? Nana Kazore, one of the spokesperson of the ObiDients campaign of the PCC, had to post pictures of them visiting the families of some of these people a few days ago, because people were saying that PO has not visited and all of that, and no other government official has visited and all that. So she had to post it because she said it was a discreet meeting and all. So they went in quietly. They went in quietly and left quietly. So it is important to know that so far I don't know what other people are doing, but so far Obedience have been the one reaching out to people of Southern Kaduna. Yes, and I told you also the other day that this did not just happen in Southern Kaduna. It's also happened in Jos, but the one of Jos was not amplified of like that in Southern Kaduna. So that is why sorry, I said Jos in Plateau State. I can't remember the name of the local government. Please, if I remember, I will definitely bring it up. And the same thing that happened there when they burnt these people clothes, houses and their food stock and all of that is the same thing that they still did in Southern Kaduna. The same thing they are still doing. In some places, they didn't even kill people. They just burned out their houses and their food and all of that and left. So it's just act of wickedness and all. So if there is a way we can actually intervene, if we can actually send these relief materials to these people, because right now they are literally hopeless. So if anything at all that we can do that will affect their lives, that can get them food for a day, two, or a week, or more, will really be a life changer for these people, because they are just living life, but they are not really alive. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So just send me a message on that for the Plateau State. Currently, we have just funding for Eha-Amufu in Enugu State and Southern Kaduna. Okay, all right. Lado, do you want to make comments?
Yes, I would like to say something. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think, I don't know, Zari, I don't know if you know about part of, I think, is it Kajuru? Towards this Kasuwa Magani axis, and some parts of Chukun local government, that Adara kingdom, and I think they have had series of attacks in those places around Maraban, Kajuru, and Co. So if this outreach can also reach to that side, I know the Kagoro attack is a recent one, but they too in the past 4 weeks there have been some series of attacks around that area. So if our outreach can reach out to them, it will be very good. And I just want to say something. Something happened today in Katsina State. The governor has been moving around with his team, with the aspirant for the APC, during their campaigns. So from a reliable source, yesterday they were at Jibia, and some people, were confessing that these other parties are liars, but that they believe that Peter Obi is the most truthful contestant among them. And today, the same thing happened in Batsari local government in Katsina State, the same thing. And this person that told me this news is an APC person. So they went for that, sensitization, grassroots sensitization and mobilization. And then the people in that town, some of them were saying all these things to their hearing, they are shouting about it. So it's good news for us, I believe. So with this kind of intervention that will be carrying out in these places, it will boost our chances of getting more votes. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for that and the perspective that you gave. Okay, I don't know whether we'll be able to, if we are to deliver relief materials You know, what logistics do you think will be required? You know, I believe we are going to also have some security clearance. You know, on the community level, we are going to discuss that. So I want to welcome everyone to this. We have spent just about 1 hour already, and we have one more hour. Our viewers on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. So if you want to make comments, please go ahead and make the comments. Go ahead and make the comments. If you want to make the comments. So
Okay.
I'm monitoring.
I don't know, Doctor. Can I say something?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Zari, you can go ahead, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So with regards to Anjuma's mention of Kajiru, frankly, if you'd ask for my personal opinion, I think much as there is need for humanitarian intervention, there is equally need for some form of legal intervention in their case. You would remember, of course, it's the nature of their monarchy is typical of that of every other part of southern Kaduna. The title of their king, like every other part, is Agwam. So I think they have been back and forth in that regard. And then at some point, he died under mysterious circumstances, which personally I would describe as assassination. Now the community has been decimated time and time and time again. And I would call it the conspiracy of silence, just the way you have in Kagoro. It's not exactly as if you go to the media and find it. It's not exactly as if the people there are influential enough to call the necessary attention. So like what has happened in Kagoro has happened in Kajuru over and over and over. And the peak of it obviously is the conversion of that kingdom from where the Ogwam rules to where an emir was imposed by the state government. So in that regard, I think if we are to intervene in that regard, a whole lot will have to come to play. And like you mentioned, of course, what are the logistics? What are the things that need to come to play? Who are the people? Who are the players to communicate with? As a people, definitely there is a high chance of turning down even any offer. Should you go there and begin by paying homage to a monarch that they do not recognize, to a monarch that is not traditional, cultural, or spiritual to them, an imposition of the state government. So in a place like that, of course, that's not an impossible terrain to come in, but we have to be very strategic. And like I said, to be very honest with you, as far as what happened in Kagoro is concerned, it is either outright obedience coming in or obi-centric people coming in, because there's a whole, of course, there's the intervention coming in from people, and there's the fact that a proper establishment of a refugee camp hasn't been done. So people gather around, and then they disperse. So some of them just hang out their burnt homes in the night. They just figure out somewhere to rest. But like I said, I'll probe into the matter properly and understand exactly the best way we could come in. So about Kajuru, of course, it's a whole dimension. I would very much intimate you in that regard. But of the recent one, that is the Kagoro, I'm sure by this time tomorrow I should have given a proper update and report in that line.
All right. Thank you very much for that perspective. I don't know, Reverend Lucy, you want to say something or you just want to listen? You can type questions on the chat box. All right. Hopefully, we are very optimistic that we are going to get funding. So I'm going to share the account details for those watching us online, where donations can be made. All right. Just a minute. Let me share it. All right, so I'm sharing it now, so you can see it on your screen. Okay, Reverend Lucy Idibo wants to make comments, okay? You can unmute yourself, Reverend Lucy. If you can also on your camera so that those watching online can see you. But if you cannot, please go ahead. You can unmute yourself, Reverend Lucy. Reverend Lucy, I've asked you to unmute. Reverend Lucy, I hope you can unmute yourself. Please go ahead and speak. Okay, seems that Reverend Lucy is having some technical challenges. Okay, I hope she'll be able to join us again. All right, so the relief materials that you have sent, I believe Dr. AI, who is supposed to be with us, has already made some relief items. And I don't know, Zari, have you made any relief items? Oh, we have lost Zari. I think his network problem. Hopefully they are going to join us. All right, so Casey, so we have identified the community that is most affected and also some communities that we need to consider. So basically the Kaguru people in Kaura local government area. Then I believe you also mentioned 2 other local governments. Is it Chikun and which other local governments, sir?
Kajuru.
Okay, Kajuru. Okay. All right. Okay. So we are hoping that people will come online. I don't know what's happening to those that were invited. Maybe they are having network challenges. So I'm monitoring the YouTube page. So far, people are not asking questions on YouTube as well as Facebook and Twitter. People are not asking questions. Okay. All right. So we will talk about the documentary that was made by West Africa. How many of us have watched that documentary where David Hundeyin works? Have we watched it? I want to play some clips. So that we can have a context. The title is Southern Kaduna, Blood, Tears, and Anger. Okay.
Across Southern Kaduna, there are...
So just a minute, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Lado, Kingsley? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see your screen. Yes, we can see it.
I'll play a portion of it.
IDPs everywhere. We're talking 30, 40, 50,000. We're not even, the very minimum in Southern Kaduna is 30,000 IDPs. And nothing is being done about that.
Since the attack started, we've not recorded a single case of one person, one, that has been arrested and prosecuted. Probably they've done some arrests there, probably. But as to prosecution, no. For over 2-3 years.
And it's ridiculous to me because they didn't do anything wrong. They were in their homes. They were attacked. It's not like it was a fight between 2 people and one won. No, they were sleeping in their homes. They were attacked. The government is supposed to secure lives and property. They were attacked. Everything they've ever known is burnt or Their farms, their ongoing farms that they're cultivating are cut down.
Abdul A. Ahmad made a comment on Facebook. There is another Black Thursday very soon. And there was indeed a Black Thursday, as Zango Katap experienced the worst of attacks. Lots of villages were attacked 2 days later, with scores of people killed. Abdul, who was born and raised in Zango Katap local government area, was never arrested. He only deactivated his Facebook account. In most cases, after the attacks, the security men who are supposedly deployed to the communities to forestall any occurrences disappear and reappear after the killings, only to arrest the youths who go after the invaders. 6:30 p.m. October 19, 2018, the Agomadra chief Maywoda Galadimo was abducted in the company of his wife. 4 of the security men were shot dead, while he was murdered, with his body dumped by the roadside days later. His death sparked lots of condemnation due to the way and manner he was abducted and murdered. It nearly caused another crisis, but the government was swift about it, as tensions were doused while the people wait for justice to be served.
The government has been unfair, unjust, selfish, wicked, and inhumane in the treatment of Southern Kaduna people. My chief, the late Agom Adara, was murdered in 2018. We still have not had a replacement. And few days after he died, instead of the state government to condole with the people and, be sympathetic, be emphatic to the plight of the Adara people, instead a gazette was released that there was no more Adara chiefdom, and the chiefdom was balkanized into Kajuru Emirate and Kachia chiefdom. And I am now under a Hausa Muslim emir, even though my community is 95% Christian Adara. And I use the 95% very loosely because there's a lot of traditional worshippers, but we're largely Christians. And I want to put this as a question to all well-meaning Nigerians. Where is it in Nigeria that you can have a Christian chief presiding over even 60% or 50% of a Muslim community? You cannot do it in Nigeria.
It just symbolizes that only particular people of a particular faith can aspire to be, to be part of that, to lead, to rule. And when there's a succession or when there's a need to succeed or to also be, there are only people from a particular religion can be, because, okay, if you are not a Muslim, can you be an emir?
That was not all. The 9 most prominent elders of Adara land were arrested and locked up for over 100 days without trial. The land was left without the king, without elders, and became a killing field for Fulanis.
And while they were in prison, the ADA president was in prison too. A lot of the prominent elders were in prison. Killings were going on Adara land, a lot of killings at that time. So Adara land was left without a chief, without their elders, and then with killings happening on irregular.
Surprisingly, 2 years after the kidnap and murder of the Agomadara, a replacement has not been made for him. It follows the same pattern with all chiefs who have died in southern Kaduna.
For 2 years now, since their king was killed, up to now, a new king has not been elected. And there's nothing wrong. The ruling houses, the northern and the southern ruling houses, the ruling houses are there intact. The kingmakers are there intact.
The government, apart from denying and refusing to take responsibility for their poor handling of the crisis, have resorted to harassing and intimidating vocal persons who are against the unprovoked killings in the area.
I'm never going to stop talking. I'm never going to stop talking. They can threaten, they can do anything they want to do, but I will continue to tell my story. My life isn't better than the lives of the people who die every day. There are people who didn't even get to see 10 years. There are babies who have been killed. They didn't talk about it on social media. They didn't say anything. They don't even have phones to talk about it. They did not call any media or talk to anybody. And it's ridiculous when I hear the government say we're sending a false narrative. They have the resources, they have the money, they have the security agencies, they have everything in their power. So how is it that they are saying Now, because we have the media on our side, that's ridiculous. The media is not on our side. But the thing with the Southern Kaduna problem is that it became so consistent. The killings became too rampant that the world could not ignore.
They have resorted to threatening, arresting, detaining and imprisoning youths who speak against what is happening in Southern Kaduna. One would wonder what the government's response would be in reaction to the killings. Previous governments empathize with the people, while the current government's approach is that of silence and incitement.
I think the approach of the government is the difference. In 2012 to 2014, where Bondon, Ataka, and some of these communities were attacked, we saw government's effort. We saw Yakowa then, we saw Ramalan at a point in time making efforts to reach out to the communities, genuine effort. And then we didn't have these inflammatory utterances from the government, unlike today. So the difference between what's happening today and what happened then is the handling of the crisis. Today, you have a situation where the government justifies the killings and excuses the killers.
In totality, the governors failed to show leadership.
Gani da ciki watan da zan aihu kenan, cikin ya riga ya yi girma, gani da yara, ina da yara 3, banda na cikin ya zama 4. Sai sun zage yarinyar din nan da yare, sun zage ta yarinyar din sai ta ce musu su yi hakuri, sai sun sare ta ciki, sun sare ta kai, sun kashe, kamin sun zo wurina. To na haifi yan 2 banda gambonsu, sai sun ce ni in zauna in ga yanda za kashe yaran nan. Yan 2 dia din sai an sare shi a kai, kaman za cire kai din, sai kai din ban cire ba. Gambo din kuma an sare shi a ciki ne, ciki din ya huje, sai an sare shi a kai, sai ya mutu. To dia din an ce za sare shi, ban san inda yaro din nan yayi ya sira da su, ban ce za sare shi an neme shi ba gan shi ba a wurin.
And these are the things I have a problem with this government. They are too petty. They don't focus on the things they are supposed to focus on. There are thousands of internally displaced people, but they have this pettiness. Like if you don't agree with them, they see us as we're fighting the government. We are not fighting the government. We want peace. We want to help the government to stop this menace.
It is the same governor who called the crisis banditry, called it revenge killings, and also called it ethnic crisis. Till date, he has not acknowledged the killings, has sent little or no support to the victims, but was seen commiserating with Lagos State after the destruction of public and private properties by hoodlums as a result of the NSAS protest. The same governor had publicly admitted to paying killer hitmen to stop the killings in southern Kaduna.
What we were trying to do was offering money to them to say, don't kill our people. And frankly, as the governor of the state, the life of every citizen of that state and his property is on my head. I will stand before God and be asked, what did you do to ensure that that person is not killed or his property destroyed? I am prepared to offer you money if you feel that you're offended and you are going to collect people to come and kill people. I'm prepared to offer you money not to do it. I have no apologies for that.
The governor also accused indigents of the area of not being accommodating in the region. Meanwhile, southern Kaduna has never had any ethnic clash with neither the Igbos, the Yorubas, nor any other ethnic group, apart from the House of Fulanis for centuries.
The history of Kaduna, it will never be complete without mentioning how the Igbos were here earlier years. And where were they? Southern Kaduna, Kafacha, Achia, Skagoro, these places are replicated. There are Igbos that are there that when they speak the language, you even through their English.
No difference between Yoruba. In fact, to Kaduna movement and state, I was not a Yoruba boy there. I was a boy then. So the other tenants, co-tenant were Sadaka. And we live very peacefully together. Peacefully.
If for anything, the Igbos and Yorubas have all run away from Kaduna North to Kaduna South because at the slightest strike, they will be slaughtered. Undeniably, Governor El-Rufai is one of the most efficient governors in Nigeria under the Buhari-led administration. Under him, Kaduna State is wearing a new look in the northern part, but not much can be said about the southern part. Surprisingly, the government looks the other way while these crimes are perpetrated against the southern Kaduna people.
Now, what is a genocide? According to the United Nations Convention on Genocide, it's a genocide is where people are killed on the basis of their tribe, religion, class, and what have you. So what is happening in southern Kaduna? It is a genocide. Why? If they come to Jama, for instance, they go to attack the Fanswan people. Jama is a local government. You have Kafanchan there. The Fanswan people are the indigenous people. These attackers don't go to the other areas where you have other tribes like the Hausas and the Fulanis and attack. They go to where the Fanswan people, the indigenous people are. So it's a well-planned agenda to wipe out a particular set of people. And look at the victims of these killings. They are either from the same tribe or the same religion.
Co-founders of the Resilient Aid and Dialogue Initiative, Reuben Buhari and Alheri Magaji, have been at the forefront of providing support to the victims of this crisis.
I don't think even in movies, directors and screenwriters can write the things that we see. Looking at babies being shot at, we had the case of a 2-month-old that had 3 bullets in his head. I mean, how do you look at a child and shoot a child, a baby? I don't. It's been a wave of emotions for me. I'm angry sometimes, I'm sad, I'm helpless. But then one thing that stands out in the midst of everything is the willingness of people to help, because there's been an outpour of love from all over. It's like we have donations from local, international, national, you know, it's in times of need that you see that there are people that really have the fear of God, people who really care for humanity.
At the peak of the crisis in 2020, women in Atiap Chiefdom came out and staged protest. Youths in Abuja, Kaduna, Lagos, and the United Kingdom also did the same. It drew the attention of the immediate and international community.
But like I say all the time, not all Fulani people are bad. And the reason why it has gotten to this level is that people who are supposed to talk about it do not talk about it. People who are supposed to condemn it and create awareness and make this stop do not make it stop. And at the end of the day, everybody becomes a victim.
We know that justice must come because we are determined to claim back our lands, we are determined to claim our rights. And in the spirit that is our culture and our religion, we can easily forgive, but we will not leave our lands to anybody, whether under this government or after. If we don't get it back, our children will get it back. So we use every legal means to get back our lands and retain our dignity.
There were peace treaties between the indigenous people and the Hausa Fulani communities. The irony here is, why sign peace treaties with faceless people?
NEMA brought in relief materials for the same Gonorogo attack because Stephen Kefas and Dr. Demfulani did a Twitter campaign. You know, they posted the situation on Twitter saying how nobody has helped the victims, and NEMA had to come. Where has SEMA been? Why does the government need to be told that there are cases of victims in the local governments across Southern Kaduna? There are IDPs everywhere. We're talking 30, 40, 50,000. We're not even, the very minimum in Southern Kaduna is 30,000 IDPs. And nothing is being done about them. If we don't take food to them, if individuals and organizations don't give them mattresses or buckets, only that one time that NEMA brought things for them, that's the one I know. I think recently too, SEMA brought stuff to, not recently, about 2 months ago, to Goningora. But the people in Goningora told us that after they took pictures of the people, that some people they gave, they left with other stuff. I don't know the facts about that. You can ask the leader of the IDPs in Goningora, but that's what they said. But my take is, we shouldn't be begging the government to feed these people, to take care of these people. What the government should be doing is even rebuilding the communities back. I mean, you have the money to do it. It's a state. There are there's money allocated for these things. So why is it not being done? And then every time you talk about it, we're being accused of inciting violence. It's ridiculous. So I honestly, truly don't think the government is ready to talk about it. And to end this, when you ask them, they tell you they're doing peace treaties. And I have a lot of questions to ask about those peace treaties. In talking about these Southern Kaduna killings, they always say that they're bandits. We all know saying the name bandits means there's no face to who comes to do the killings, right? So when you have a peace treaty, who are you having the peace treaty with? Do you finally now know who the bandits are? Who are the people representing the other side of Southern Kaduna? It's Southern Kaduna versus someone, obviously, for it to be a communal clash. So are they telling us that they know the people who have been coming to kill the Southern Kaduna people? And if yes, they know the people, why are they having meetings? Why are the people not arrested? These are crimes against humanity. Why is there being a meeting instead of there being arrests? So it's ridiculous that you call them bandits. You will never say they're Fulani herdsmen. You're saying bandits, and yet you're saying communal clash, and then you're having peace meetings. Peace meetings with who exactly?
Our people are not in a death race. We are not in a killing competition with anyone. We are over 60 ethnic groups who are not at war with each other. We want to be left the way we are, or the government should let us defend ourselves when the need be. The death statistics cannot change the past, and neither can we fight for peace. In the words of Albert Einstein, peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. A visit to Reverend Dr. Gideon Parmalam, a missionary, social justice and peace campaigner who has been at the center of the conflict resolution in Southern Kaduna.
January, to be precise, the British High Commission reached out to us through the recommendation of the British High Commission in Abuja. Now, I also picked up issues in which some of the Fulani said that their cows are being killed. And then the local people said their crops are being destroyed. So if you ask me, those are the immediate causes. Now, those who continue to attack communities in Southern Kaduna, let it be clear, as a peace builder, our foundation, the Gideon and Fumi Paramalam's foundation, believes in building the kind of peace that is predicated on justice. We will never support any act of injustice. So you can't take over the community, the lands of people, the communities, drive the people away, and you just simply take over and it becomes yours. No, the principle of self-determination, which is supported by the United Nations, will never allow that to happen.
If you want to have a way forward, then Nigerians must have to sit down together and do what? And dismantle the structures of injustice.
These things we are saying are not creations. They are facts. And on daily basis, anybody who reads the news, on daily basis, people are being killed. We know that it has been reported over and over. Helicopters drop supplies for these insurgents. We have a country. Somebody has to know where those helicopters are coming from.
Ya Allah.
This was a documentary by West African Weekly. So it was an investigative report, and in the comment section, he reached us, something terrible is happening in southern Kaduna. For some reason, any journalist, researcher, activist, or civil society operator who investigates, researches, reports on, or just speaks loudly about it tends to end up threatened, dead, or exiled. Obada Malaifa dead, Stephen Kefas exiled, Ibanga. Let me on my video. Ibanga is Isine exiled, David Hundeyin exiled, Ndikato threatened, and the list goes on. So it's something that is very, very tragic that is going on in southern Kaduna. All right, so we have a donation. We have 50,000 naira donation that was just sent. The person that sent it wants to be anonymous. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Kingsley, do you want to respond to the video that you just watched? Or Lado, please go ahead.
All right. The documentary that we just watched right now is just, I think it just elaborated everything I said in the first day of this meeting, right? Everything that has been happening in Southern Kaduna is a calculated, should I call it a calculated attempt, or everything that has been happening is calculated, because as I said before, this thing occurs every year. It's like every year, Southern Kaduna people are expecting hundreds of their people to be killed. Every year, it's like they are giving birth to 200 people so that 100 can be killed. It's now becoming a norm. You see what the woman was saying in Hausa. For those of us that understand Hausa correctly, it's like if you understand Hausa, that is when you feel that pain more than when you are even seeing the subtitles and all of that, because people coming to your present and telling you that your 3 children, they will kill them, they will butcher them, they don't want to kill you, they just want you to watch your children die. It is as funny as it may sound, or as unlikely as it may sound, it is actually the truth. It is actually what is happening in Southern Kaduna. It is just it. Imagine a child of how many years, and they are using cutlass, a machete to butcher the child's head. So it is just very, very, it is something that has been happening for a very long time now. And I really thank God that the thing is out there right now, so that the whole world can see, so that everybody can actually know what is actually happened to the people of Southern Kaduna. And these people, they have been crying for their states. That is the only reason why they have been asking for their own, a state of their own, because of the continuous killing. And as I said, this killing only happened during election period or during festive periods. This is when the killing in Southern Kaduna always occur. It's either when they are coming together to go and vote, or when they are coming together to come and celebrate. So that is why I say it is a calculated attempt. And just like the documentary has made us see, yes, it is a calculated attempt at genocide. So it is, but God will help us. So for the viewers and the listeners and all of that, Southern Kaduna needs help. That's just all I'll say. They really do need help. And we taking materials to Southern Kaduna now, it's just the beginning of a bigger and better things for them, because I think this is like the first time that any candidate or support group of such will actually send relief materials to the people of Southern Kaduna. And then hopefully 2023 election, as we know we are going to win, then Southern Kaduna will be liberated from all of this nonsense that has been happening through His Excellency Peter Obi, by God's grace. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for your comments. So let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. I'm monitoring the online space. Please, if you want to make comments, you can make it on the chat box, whichever channel you are watching, whether YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. You can also join us on Zoom if you want to make comments. So I'm going to share the ID, so you can see the ID on the screen right now. So we have 26 persons online on YouTube. Facebook has been fluctuating, the same thing with Twitter. All right, I think we have laid a long foundation. Let's see how we can share this meeting. Day 4, day 5, day 6 is very critical because we need to raise as much funds as possible so that we can be able to get significant relief materials to the affected community, courtesy of His Excellency Peter Obi, powered by support groups. All right, so hopefully I will try and get more persons to come online, and Zari is going to give us first-hand feedback from the field, what's actually going on there, and then hopefully Eha-Amufu too. We'll also try and get first-hand experience from Eha-Amufu. All right, so I'm going to share a short video. Right, I shared portions of it yesterday, but I'm going to share more of the video about Eha-Amufu because we are handling two of them currently. Just a minute. All right. Okay, so let's watch it now.
Is to attest to this conversation that and this at least expressions he's making, but because of the nature of the pictures and people who are also photo sensitive, we will not be able to show them as well. But let me come to Ken Asogwa now. I mean, you've heard this is just one side of the story coming from Enugu State. We've heard about Imo State. We've heard, you know, the violence and the killings, even of course by the unknown gunmen, and sometimes even the mention of the ESN comes into question. How worrisome is this for you, and how do we begin to draw, you know, the boundary between the killings and the interventions of the security agencies?
Thank you so much. There is, you know, Kasina was driving to somewhere. He didn't land because, before I come to your question, he didn't land because he didn't come to what transpired. I'm sure before this program, we wrap up this program, he will come to that. This December alone, they've hacked down, they've killed more than 200 persons. This December, you know, from December 8th to December 18th, they've killed more than 200 persons in Eha-Amufu. So I think he will throw more insight on that when it comes to that. Now, you see, what is happening in the South is generally, we need to disaggregate them because some of them, you need to treat it on its own merit. What is happening in Imo is different from what is happening in Anambra. is different. What's happening in Anambra is different from what is happening in Enugu, in Eha-Amufu. You know, and some of them are politically tainted. You know, because the man who is vying for Labour Party governorship candidate in Enugu State is from Eha-Amufu. You understand? So, okay. And all of a sudden he heightened up in his own village, in his own community. And, you know, for some people have been asking questions, why this? Why take this war? Why did this start now? It's been there since 2020, but it just got heightened up. And I don't want to say the complacency, but I expected the chief executive officer of the state, who is the chief security officer, the governor, to have acted more than he. Yes, Kasmia admitted that at some point there were some skeletal interventions from the governor, but at this humongous number, this huge number of persons being killed in your state, I've not heard that the governor sought audience to see Mr. President, and maybe the audience was denied. I've not even heard about state broadcast by the governor. There was a time that he made some political shows in the village and visited the place, but he didn't even go to the place where he visited, just like as if something is happening in Gwagwalada, and maybe some people were killed in Gwagwalada, and Mr. President wanted to go on the spot assessment, and he comes to Gariki. That is not where it happened. The governor just came there with some few cameras and he disappeared. You know, so this is not a forum to indict anybody, but the truth is that people are being killed. Your citizens are being killed. And what they are doing in the state is they are going from place to place campaigning for election. The last time I checked, those don't vote in election. It is human beings that will vote. And these human beings are the people who are being hacked down on a daily basis. Now, if I want to delve into what's happening in Imo, which I don't even want that to be the center of this conversation, but there are certain things happening in the southeast these days. Like when you look at it, they are very much orchestrated. Okay. The heightened up crisis in the southeast, you know, they are very much orchestrated because, you know, that is the home.
They are orchestrated from within or from out? Yeah,
some of them are from outside. In short, it's inflicted from outside, but you know, you cannot inflict injury from outside without using there are some persons within who are complicit. You understand? What is happening in the southeast, so just let me not bore you, is that some persons felt that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party is going to sweep the entire southeast. That is his catchment area, no doubt. And some persons felt that the only way to stop those votes coming out from that place is to create a situation of voter apathy in the southeast, to create tension, to create fear in people. And that is what they are doing. If you look at the last Anambra gubernatorial election, in the build-up to the election, there was heightened insecurity in Anambra State. And a certain political party was fingered in that. They kept killing people until Anambra people resisted it. In short, as a matter of fact, the husband of Professor Dora Akwele died in that. And so they heightened up that insecurity in order to cow people not to come out to vote on election day. But eventually they came out to vote. So Anambra people resisted that. So what they are doing in the South is the same Anambra template they are trying to play out. So there is no, so we all know what they are doing. And so what we are seeing here is the hand of Esau. So we know that it's been orchestrated. It's been orchestrated by some political groups. But like I said, it is not by coincidence that I wore black and he wore black. This is not a conversation for politics. It's a conversation for sober reflection on what is happening in Enugu State. So it has never happened this way and elsewhere. That in 1 month, more than 200 persons are hacked down. Look, whenever it happens in Benue State, we see 5-10 persons killed. And you see the governor of Benue State shouting everywhere to the rooftops, coming to the village, trying to see Mr. President.
But Ken, before the elections and the campaign started, we've already started seeing, you know, this kind of incursions, even in the southeast. I mean, you see that in Ebonyi, you see that in Imo State. And perhaps, yes, you're right that just as the 2023 election started to come into play, it heightened and the numbers increased. But then you have said there are different catchment areas and the reasons for different kinds of attack in the different southeastern states. But beyond the political, you know, narrative that you've given, what about the participation or the accusation of complacency? Because it is important to draw out that narrative.
You see, the complacency, I will say it again, I will say it tomorrow, the complacency is with the Enugu State government in terms of Eha-Amufu killings. Because, okay, just this morning I heard that the GOC of 82 Division Army is army people. They are arresting everybody in Eha-Amufu, ordering the arrest of people in Eha-Amufu. Let me tell you why I think there is. I'm not accusing the governor of being part of this, but sometimes silence may not be golden. If your people are being killed and you're not saying anything, then it could be people will be right to conjure some conspiracy theories. There is a certain guy who lives in Eha-Amufu, grew up there, is from the Fulani extraction, and the news out there is that when these invaders came, the fellow was the one that led them on that assignment. The guy is from the Fulani extraction. He lived there, he grew up there. He was the one that brought the external aggressors. And do you know what? This same man is said to be the one heading the forest guards instituted by the governor for Eha-Amufu. He's the one heading the forest guards in Eha-Amufu area. So he's the head of forest guards in Eha-Amufu, meaning that he serves for the state government. And he is the one leading the assailants. So I don't want to say, when they say the owl cried at night and the baby died in the morning. So it looks like, I don't know whether the governor knows, because I understand that this is the chief security officer, so he has the intelligence of everything happening. So he cannot tell me that the governor doesn't know that the person whom he appointed as the head of the forest guard in Eha-Amufu was the one that led the invaders who came and killed 200 of his
Has the person been picked up by the police? Has the person been picked up by the police? And I'm asking this
because to you this morning, he has not been picked, as far as I know. So let me shock you. The people who killed these people are still occupying the forest in this Eha-Amufu. They've not left.
So is the police aware of this? You're talking about the state governor. Let's come back to you now. Have you made any attempt to get the security, operatives involved in all of this?
The helmsmen of the various security agencies in Enugu State, talk of the Commissioner of Police, very much aware, seized with this matter. Talk of the GOC of 82 Div, he is very much aware, seized with this matter. The director DSS in the state, very much aware. All, like I said, all. Now this is the point. November 25th, after the killing of November 4th, the governor of Enugu State came to Mbuji Autonomous Community in the wee hours of the night, 6:37 p.m. Emergency. He came with truckloads of military, police, civil defense authorities. And I was glad. I said, oh, the governor has intervened, meaning that those men he came with will be passing the night with us and will probably in the morning head to this troubled spot. Alas, under 15-20 minutes, they all left. Yes, he gave an intervention of about 10 million naira. I do not know who he gave to, for the treatment of those who he saw that were wounded. Many were killed and were deposited in the morgue. Now the point need to be made and clear that the trouble spot is not Overel Eha-Amufu. The trouble spot is not Mbuji. The trouble spot is not Ebola. The trouble spot is not Egamedola. The trouble spot involves 65 farming communities in Eha-Amufu.
All right. So we have watched this clip, and we can draw some similarity, between what is happening in southern Kaduna and what is happening in Eha-Amufu. All right, so we just have about 13 more minutes to go, and we just have 2 donations today. We need more donations, those on YouTube, those on Facebook, those on Twitter. Please can go ahead and make your donations. All right. Okay, Zaria was here. He talked about legal aid. So what sort of legal aid do you think these people will require? And possibly we may need to involve our members in Lawyers for P2B. Ladu or Kingsley, do you want to make any comment on that?
All right, thank you very much. I think the kind of legal aid he's talking about is the issue of their chiefdom. If you can listen, if you listen carefully from that video, you will understand that their emir that died, they didn't get a replacement from that ethnic group. You understand? So what they did was that I think they kind of divided the kingdom, and then they gave them an emir. And then the people don't want that. You understand? I also reason in that sense. You are the owner of a house. That house has been your family home, and then just one day, when your father is not there, then they will bring somebody from outside, who will just come and rule that your family house. How does it look like? I think that's the issue there. So that's why Zari is suggesting issue of legal aid, in order to try and see how they can bring back their kingdom, the kingdom that has been shed into Kachia and Kajuru, so that the people will be back under one king. Because we have the Adara people, the Adara chiefdom, or the Adara people in a part of Kachia, and we have them in Kajuru, but predominantly Kajuru is their place. So I think that's the legal aid that Zari is talking about. Thank you.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. So this is not something that we can do in a short term. It's a medium and a long-term thing. But we believe that with the coming of His Excellency Peter Obi, a lot of these injustices happening across Nigeria will be dealt with. Is one of the strong points of the candidacy of Peter Obi. And, we want to bring a new Nigeria where everyone is heard, no ethnic group, no region is, dehumanized. We need to understand the peculiarities of each region. And there will be governance with equity, fairness, and justice. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. We just have 50 more minutes. We have 50 more minutes to go. Sorry, 10 more minutes to go. This is 9:50. So I hope that there will be donations that will come in these 10 minutes. I hope that donations will come in these 10 minutes so that we can have funds for relief materials and possibly an outreach in these two areas, in southern Kaduna and in Eha-Amufu, Isuzu local government area of Enugu State. So if you are watching online and you want to make comments, maybe you want us to hear your voice, please, you can use the Zoom ID that is being displayed now in the video. And the passcode is there, POKS23. So you can come online and ask question, or you can ask a question on the chat box and I'll read it out and see how we can attend to it. So we have representatives of the Up North, Kingsley Up North, ambassadors, and Lado Beoyaminu, also from Up North ambassadors. We are so grateful that you're able to join us today. I know it's not easy, with all the busy schedule, looking for a stable network. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to continue discussions on our platform where we are planning the interventions. All right, so more donations, please, more donations. Or you want to make comments, please feel free. Feel free to make comments. Feel free to make comments. Okay. All right. I think we'll need to start bringing this meeting to a close since we don't have any more comments or donations. Okay, so far we have been able to raise 70,000 naira. This is a far cry of what may be required for this intervention. So I will share the account details again in case some persons want to make donations. Once you make donation, please send me the evidence. Send the evidence to me so that it can be well acknowledged. Donations can be made anonymously if you prefer. The account details is on the screen. Access, bank account number, account name, Synapses Medical Networks, Doctors Operations. The Naira and the dollar account is displayed. If you need more details, please do not hesitate to reach me. On this note, I want to thank Kingsley. I want to thank Lado. I also want to thank Zaraya for coming online. Please, let's see how tomorrow will be. Let's be optimistic that more persons are going to come, more donations are going to come. Thank you very much. Please, you can unmute yourself and say complimentaries before we bring this meeting to a close. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. I just want to say something. This is the first time in Nigeria that people are coming together of this magnitude to do things to help humanity. I can tell you our names will be written in history. You know, I'm making this appeal to all the ObiDients that are out there listening to us. Please, kindly donate for this cause. Your donation will go a long way to bless a particular individual. Your donation will go a long way to put smiles on people's faces. Your donation will go a long way, you know, to save a life. So please kindly donate for this cause, and I assure you that the unity and purpose for which we are doing this will be achieved. And I want to assure you that God will bless you here on earth and then in the life after. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The account details is being spotlighted currently. All right. Any final comments from Kingsley?
Yeah, just to appreciate everybody that has donated so far, and for those that still want to donate, please, so beg you, because as I said in the beginning of my this thing today, this is way beyond politics. This is you affecting a human directly. This is you providing food for somebody. This is you providing clothing for somebody. This is you providing shelter for somebody. So when they say the change actually begins with you, I think there is no better way to interpret it than this. So that thing you want to see, me being my brother's keeper, me being there for my neighbor and all of that, this is the right time. I think for those of us in Up North, ambassadors, we have really tried to cover these things. We have really tried to reach out to as many people as possible. Like if you see the campaign that we have been carrying out, how we have been sensitizing people, we don't just go to communities and share posters and all of that to people, because that will be us not being considerate, because people are hungry and all of that. And sometimes you cannot just buy food items and distribute to these people. So what we do is we just look for something that will affect the whole community, and we just take care of it. Maybe there is a borehole that is not there. In Sokoto right now, we are digging a well for people because I think that community said they've not had water for over 20 years. That is literally since the community has been in existence. There's no water. They have to travel for kilometers to get water. So it is bad like that in the north. I think some of the stories that you hear when they say Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, it's not because of the 36th state of Nigeria, but it's because of the 19th state of the north. And I can even narrow it down to, let me say, the 7 states of the northwest. But there are still some few states in the northeast and the north central also that are very, very extremely poor. So Kaduna is also in the northwest. So people are already hungry in these states, and now the bandits are killing them on top of that. So people are going through a lot. So whatever means possible that you can actually come through for these people will really be appreciated, and it will really go a long way. Trust me, no matter how little it is. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate having me here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kingsley and Lado. Thank you so much. Hopefully tomorrow we'll give some time so that up north will be able to talk more about what they do. Maybe share one or two of their projects, so that after now we can also look for ways to support what you are doing in the north. Thank you very much. I don't think we have any questions on the chat box. Okay, so we're going to bring this meeting to a close. Thank you very much, Lado. Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you, everyone that joined us. We'll be back tomorrow for day 4. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you to my brother, and good night, everybody.
Good night.